Okay guys, today I'm going to show you how to format a document using MLA format. So MLA stands for Modern Language Association, and this is an organization that puts out this format that we use in English classes and in philosophy classes and humanities classes and a list of other classes within the arts. And this is the format that we're going to use. Okay, this is a handy list that I made that details the steps that we need to follow. If you want to pause the video and write it down, you can, or take a picture. Keep it handy because this is the same list that we're going to use throughout the semester, the same steps always. All right, the first step, we need to make sure that the font is Times New Roman size 12. The second step, we need to make sure that we double space our document. The third step, we need to make sure that we have 1-inch margins all around the page, every page. And then we need a running head with page numbers. And in that head or header, you need your last name and the page number. The heading is always going to be the same. You need your name and your last name. Then you need your professor's name. And then you need the course number and the CRN and the date. And when you write down the date, you need to write down the number of the day, the month, and the year. So if today is August the 31st, you need to write 31 August 2020. And then you need the title because every document needs to have a title. All right, let's do this. Let's start. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is set my font to Times New Roman. So I go to Home and set it up to Times New Roman, and the size needs to be size 12. Careful with this because Word tends to default to calibri, and we need Times New Roman. Next thing we need is to double space the document. So I go to Paragraph, Line Spacing, and I set it to double. And that's it. Then I need to make sure that I have 1-inch margins. So I go to Layout and to Margins and click on Normal. That's that. We need a header. Next, we need a header. So we go to Insert and we go to Header. And the header needs to show up in the upper right-hand corner of every page. And in that header, you need your last name and the page number. So I'm going to choose one option that allows me to do just that. This one looks good. You see the page number shows up on the upper right-hand corner of the page. And I'm pretty sure it's going to allow me to type up my name, my last name. So suppose that my name is John Smith. So I type the last name, my last name, and the page number. For some reason, this looks blue, so I'm just going to go and change it to black. And I also need it to be Times New Roman, size 12. Okay. All right, so I'm done with the header. I press the Escape or S key, takes me out of there, and that's that. Then I need the header. Let's review. In the header, I need the name and last name, professor's name, course number and CRN, and the date. Okay, so name and last name. Suppose that my name is John Smith. The name of my professor, Dr. Ruiz. Miss the period, there it is. The class that I'm taking, let's suppose that I'm taking 1101 and the CRN is 11323. Perfect. And then I need the date. So let's suppose today is August the 31st. So 31 August 2020. All right, and I press enter, and that's my header. All done. Name and last name, professor's name, class that I'm taking, take off this extra space, class that I'm taking, and CRN, and date. Am I missing anything? Name and last name, professor's name, course number and CRN, date, day, month, and year. The next thing that I need is a title. So I go to my document, press enter. The title needs to be centered. So I go to home and center my title. And you guys have to answer some questions on the joy of reading Superman and Me. So I'm just going to go homework. on Sherman, Alexie's. Quotation marks for the name of essays that you read in class. Oops, The Joy of Reading. Superman and Me. There we go. And close quotation marks. Notice the use of capital letters, right? Obviously, the first word of the title needs to be capitalized. And then after that, every major part of speech needs to be capitalized. What are the major parts of speech? Nouns, pronouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives. So every major part of speech is capitalized. You do not need to capitalize prepositions, all right? Or conjunctions, unless they are the first name of the title, obviously. Right, so I'm done with my title and press enter to start typing, but I need to make sure that my whole document isn't centered, right? I need to flush it to the left margin. So I go to home and unclick this and click it to just go to the left margin. All right, so question number 1. What's question number 1? Okay, here's question number 1. I can go ahead and just copy paste it because I want to do things quickly. Go to here and paste it. Done. But I'm noticing a difference between this font and the font that I already set up. So I go like this and make sure that it's Times New Roman. You see, this is Helvetica. I need to change it to Times New Roman size 12. And I also want to make sure that everything is double spaced. So, you know, like the little details. Yep, everything is double spaced. So I'm good. All right, before I do that, I need to answer the question. So I indent my paragraph and start my answer here. When I'm done, I go back to the left margin, number 2, and I'm ready to type up, right, my question number 2 there. What's question number 2? Copy paste. It's the easiest, most convenient thing to do is just to copy paste the questions. Again. This is a different font. So make sure everything Times New Roman size 12. And there we go. And then I start typing. Right? Start typing answer here, and so on and so forth with each question. All right. Notice that some of these questions are going to ask you to use quotes, to embed quotes. Okay. Please review the how to embed quotes video that I posted on the module and our study the images or pictures that I posted. Remember that to embed a quote, you need to introduce it with a signal phrase. Then you include the quote with quotation marks. And after the quote, you need the page number where you got the quote from in parentheses. And the parenthesis goes before the period. And then after that, explain your quote. Notice that already in some of these questions, you have some embedded quotes that you can use as examples. So here's a quote. Look at this. Alexie explains how he came to understand the purpose of a paragraph. He uses the metaphor that a paragraph was a fence that held words. So notice how I embedded my quote here. This is my signal phrase. And then this is my quote. And finally, page number where I got the quote from and the period. That's an example of a quote that is embedded. You have another one here. Alexie claims that you see that? I have my signal phrase, and over here I'm using one of those signal verbs. And then I have the quote within quotation marks. And after the quote, in parentheses, the page number where I got it from, and then the period outside the parentheses. And here's another one. You see, he tells us that he, quote, loved those books, quote, close quote, but that his love, quote, had only one purpose. I was trying to save my life, close quote. So I kind of mixed it up here and used two quotes. Each one is embedded. You have the signal phrase and the quote. And then you have another signal phrase that introduces the next quote and the quote. And the page number where I got the quotes from is the same one. It's page 25. All right, so you have some examples of other embedded quotes here. Remember that you can use these signal verbs, any of these signal verbs in your introductory phrase. You can also use verbs such as says and states, but these are often overused. So try to spice it up a little bit with another verb. Okay, and you can always watch also the video that I have posted on the module as a guide. All right. Okay, guys, so this is all from me for today. Hope you find it helpful. But remember that the list, we're going to follow it throughout the semester. And this is what your document should look like. Look at the header over here. If I go to page 2, just going to go to page 2, you're going to see that it shows up as well. Right, so make sure to double space everything, and that everything needs to be Times New Roman size 12. All right. Okay, now that's it from today, from me for today. I'll see you guys later.